It's the 24th of June and I'm out at Corin Dam. The time is 10:50 a.m. Never seen so many cars here. When I was driving along Tuggerong Parkway, you could see there's a lot of snow on top of Mt Gingera. My plan today is to go up the Stockyard Spur to Prior's Hut and see where the snow line is. I'm going to camp out tonight and then return back to the car tomorrow morning and back to Canberra in the afternoon. The time's 12:28 and I've just reached the clearing at the end of a steep section. Snow also started to appear on the ground in the last 100 metres or so. Time's 2:42 and just reached the Mount Franklin road. Probably another 20 minutes to get to Prior's Hut. Time is 3 o'clock and I've reached Prior's Hut. Plenty of snow around. Temperature about 2 degrees Celsius. The time is 3:46 and at the turn off on the track which goes up to the summit of Gingera off the Mount Franklin road. Going to camp here tonight and go up the mountain tomorrow morning and then return back to Canberra. The time's 4:40 p.m. and tent's all up. Collected some water from the little creek flowing through a pipe which goes under the road. About to cook dinner. Temperatures minus 6 degrees Celsius at the moment. Making some coffee. Temperature when I last looked was -6. Sure it's going to get much colder now the sun's going down. Dinner tonight will be macaroni and cheese. This cup is 250 mils, and to get this amount of water to boil I've used 12 mils of metho. Used a bit of the shellite to get the stove burning. This is the first time I've used the Cogen stove. I'm very impressed. Just fill it with the right amount of metho and off you go. Time is 7 o'clock and it's the 25th of June. Just starting to get light now. Sun will soon be up. It's been a cold night last night. Thermometer is just outside now and it's recording about -12 Celsius. I think it was maybe about -6 inside the tent. Had an interesting experience last night. When I hopped in the sleeping bag after I'd finished dinner, my toes were very cold, both feet, and they remained that way for the next 2 hours, and it was really quite burning. Everything else was warm except for these toes. So what I did, I got a handful of trail mix and ate that, and then within 20 minutes blood flow was back to the toes and they were normal again. Spent the rest of the night nice and snug in the J&H snow bag, using the 3/4 length thermarest, and I was using the backpack as insulation for the feet to extend it to full length. That seemed to work okay. The thermarest remained inflated properly all night and I didn't feel any cold coming through the floor. I did notice if I moved the baffle covering the zip inside the sleeping bag, then that felt cold. So obviously a lot of cold comes through that zip. Also I was using the hood, which was nice, and kept my arms and hands inside the sleeping bag. All was well on that regard. The other problem I had was that the 2 action cameras I tried to charge from the PowerMonkey Extreme battery, and I had initial success at the beginning charging the action camera 200. After a while, I think it was almost fully charged, the charge light started flashing. I took it off and replaced it with the action camera 300 and it started to flash straight off. I don't think it's supposed to flash. It's supposed to be a solid light, so something was wrong. I then connected up to the phone and it did start charging. Phone was at 77% and it went up to 80% and then it stopped charging as well. Finally, I connected up the Goal Zero light and it was working. So getting output from the battery, but my guess is that it wasn't sufficient output for the action camera or the phone to charge. I think both these devices need quite high current to charge, whereas the light only requires about 170 milliamps. That's my guess. I think it may be the cold, I'm not sure. Certainly couldn't get it to charge. So that's about it. There's fine droplets of moisture on the top of the inner tent, and if you brush your hand along the underside of the inner tent, then get a shower of fine ice droplets. A lot of ice on the outside of the fly, been quite heavy frost. So now I'll cook breakfast, which will be rolled oats. No honey for the porridge because I can't get it out of the bottle. Both my water bottles are half frozen solid. Bit of a bummer. The shellite is invaluable, otherwise I'd never get the meths burner alight. Finally resorted to putting the honey into some hot water to make it runny. Time is now 8:46 and I've got the sleeping bag out in the sun to dry off a little bit. Not too wet, but just a few specks of the frost that's come down from the top of the tent. Temperature's now minus 10 degrees Celsius. Time's now 9:06 and I've got the 13 watt solar panel connected up to the PowerMonkey Extreme battery, and also it's connected to the Action Camera 300. The Action Camera 300 charge light is now lit and not flashing, so must be charging. So maybe my theory that the battery was not producing enough current in the cold was the correct. Now it's getting the assistance from the solar panel. There's enough current for the camera to charge properly. Time is 9:36 and the PowerMonkey Extreme is already showing 81%. It's come up from 61 at the end of that long time lapse. The panel's really putting in the power. Time is 9:48 and all packed up and about to start off on the walk up the remainder of Mt Gingera. Looks like I've lost one of the pegs that came with the Mont tent. Don't think it lost it here, can't see it on the snow. Perhaps lost it last weekend at Cotter Rocks, but seems there's only 7 now when there should have been 8. The time is 10:27 and just arrived at the summit of Mt Gingera. Very still, perfect sun, nice in the sun, cold in the shade. Plenty of snow around, I'd say 10 to 15 centimetres. Time is 10:47 and I've been charging the PowerMonkey Extreme battery from the 13 watt panel. When I first set it out, the battery was charging quite nicely. I think it was about 80% when I first started charging it up here at the summit, and it's currently 86% but not charging. I've tried replacing the cable. When I connect the cable up, it shows it's charging, with a rotating bar pattern, but after a couple of seconds it ceases charging. Not sure what's going wrong. I've now connected the solar panel up to the phone and it is charging quite nicely. Phone is 66% charge. Something strange happening with this PowerMonkey battery with the cold temperatures, I think. The temperature at summit of Gingera in the sun is 0 degrees. Time is 11:36 and phone already 82% charged. It's risen up from 67% to 82% in the half hour or so that I've had it charging. Just tried connecting the solar panel back up to the PowerMonkey Extreme battery. Again, upon connection, it gave indication that it was charging, but charging symbol ceased after a couple of seconds. Screen is blank. The PowerMonkey Extreme battery showing 86% charge. Time is 11:45 and I'm leaving Mt Gingera. Bit sad, not sure whether I'll ever come back here again. Time is 12:10 and I'm back at the track junction where I camped last night. Time is 12:26 and back at Prior's hut. Time is 12:40 and back at the junction where the Stockyard Spur walking track leaves the Franklin Road. 6.5 kilometres to Corin Dam from here. Time's 1:42 and lunch. Just checked on the phone, which has been charging off the solar panel since leaving Mt Gingera summit. The phone is now 88% charged. Temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. Colby cheese. Time is 2:19 p.m. and have reached the clearing. Now it's just 2 kilometres down the very steep trail back to the dam. Time is 15:15 and back at the dam. They're installing some sort of fence and they've got this crane blocking the dam wall so can't get through at this point. Have to wait till they've cleared it. Phone is showing 84% charge.